How much you charge for rent in this property?
$5,200.
Do you think it's worth it?
Definitely.
Should we go check it out?
Let's go check it out.
All right, let's go.
This is a fourplex, and each unit rents for $1,300 a month.
When did you buy this property?
Bought it right before went crazy in 2020.
You said how much you bought it for?
I bought it for $765.
And now what do you think it's worth?
It's probably worth $900,000.
Damn. So when you bought it, how much was on your mortgage?
My monthly payment on the mortgage, so principal and interest, is $2,200. Taxes are $1,500 a month, and insurance is like $200 a month.
So that is $3,900.
Exactly. So we're cash flowing about $1,300 a month.
As we got here, you said that you've never seen this place before, right?
I have a business partner, and it's his job to manage these properties. I've never been inside this unit. This is the first time I'm stepping in here after 5 years.
Well, how do you like it? Do you think it matches your expectation or what?
It's a little underwhelming for sure, but hey, I don't have to live here, so that's the good news.
I'm expecting you to give me a tour, but like we're taking the tour at the same time, I guess.
But yeah, here's the kitchen.
Okay. These are all these units are what? 1 bed, 1 bath?
They are 2 bedroom, 1 bath.
We're only like 6 minutes away from downtown, and that's how cheap the rent is.
Exactly. Well, we're right next to St. Ed's, so it's right next to the university. So we try to attract, students or young professionals.
So you don't have to make the units like super nice either.
Exactly. This is all the finishings that it came with. So we really haven't sunk a ton of money into the interior. I did about $35,000 worth of repairs to the exterior as far as like siding and stuff. And that's basically all that we've come out of pocket over the last 5 years. It's just me and my brother. So it's kind of like a family little business. And we bought a bunch of multifamilies right before, again, the market went crazy in 2020. And so, yeah, we got lucky. It was great timing. Rates were super low. For example, we cash flow positive here because our interest rate is 2.375%.
2.3 is insane.
It's crazy. It's probably
anything in the 2s is crazy. Forget about, I have some in the 3s, like mid, high 3s. I thought that was good. So how were you able to get that rate? Like, is it because like you get discounts?
Exactly. So I'm a lender. So we use like the full bank margin to buy down the interest rates. I think our buy down, even when rates were really low, was probably like $35,000. And yeah, it worked out. The numbers made sense at the time.
Okay, cool. This is the living room, kitchen.
You'll notice the bedrooms are super small.
So college students don't really need anything that large, right?
Right, exactly.
Not even...
You're looking for tenants that don't spend a lot of time in their place, ideally.
So how did you get the money for your first investment property? You said you had a partner and you did a primary residence, but did you just save through your business or did you have a job at that time?
Yeah, I was working in a call center for a mortgage lender. So I just saved up for about 12 months and was enough to put a down payment on a home. And for this one, same type of thing. Our business took off and we were able to accumulate a lot of savings and it was nice. All the partners went, equal.
And what kind of learning did you do before you bought your first investment property?
I read Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Okay. There's not much real estate information in that book.
Almost none. And so, yeah, we jumped in and yeah, it was a new build, a new construction. Like there was one person that lived in it prior for 12 months. And so it was brand new basically. And so there was no upkeep, there was no maintenance. It was just about good timing and a good location. We noticed there was a lot of developers building in that neighborhood. And so we just followed their lead.
Okay. So let's talk about your portfolio. What's your portfolio like since you started in 2016?
So we own 3 multifamilies and then I own a primary residence.
How many units? What would you say the asset size is and what your total cash flow is? Do you know those numbers kind of?
Yeah, so this one is 4 doors, roughly worth $850, $875 right now. The other ones are duplexes. One of them is worth probably $450, $475, and the other one's not far off those numbers. Each door, we try to set the rent at right around $1,300 to $1,500, so probably an average of right around $1,400. All of the interest rates that I have, luckily, are sub 3%. And I bought prior to the price spiking here in Austin. And so we do really well on cash flow.
What's your goal like when it comes to real estate investing? Anything specific? Like, is it financial freedom, 10K a month? What is it?
For us, because I have partners, really, it's about the cash flow and trying to get to a certain number. So for us, initially, when we started investing in these multifamilies, we were trying to get to roughly $5,000 a month. And so we're close. We're not far off that. But to be honest, we try to invest here in Austin. And it was one of those things that we kind of stopped investing once the market turned. And we're not the type of investor that's investing into different markets. We're more focused on our
in your local market.
Yeah.
Would you do it all over again if you started today? Do you think it's worth it?
Absolutely. Look, right, investing in real estate is always worth it, right, if you're patient. However, in this market, in this environment, I wouldn't necessarily be investing in Austin. With the interest rates and the prices where they're at, it's very hard to cash flow. So unless your goals are something entirely different, I would probably avoid Austin as an investor unless you can do something like 35, 40% down and you're willing to wait it out and maybe even take some negative cash flow.
You're not just saying that to scare people off so you could buy them, right?
I'm not, although that is a good strategy.
So when he bought the properties, they were a lot cheaper. That affects your mortgage price, and then also the interest rate affects the mortgage price. If you bought the same properties today with 7-8% interest rates, what would the numbers be more like?
It's a great question. So for this one, it would basically add about $1,400 to P&I. So it erases my cash flow entirely. I would be able to break even. My advice to investors in this market and challenging markets is the new gold standard for down payment is now 40%, right? If you really focus on cash flow, coming up with something like 40% in these difficult markets, I think is key. Otherwise, you're looking for a unicorn, right? 20-25% down and cash flowing in Austin. Good luck.
Yeah. Not happening. One last question that came to my head. Give us one trick if you're applying for a loan, or what's one thing I can do to get my rates lower right now? You're the insider. Tell us what to do.
Okay, so as an investor,
be my lend best friend.
My tip, right, is always work with a mortgage broker and never with a direct lender. Mortgage brokers, especially if you're looking for conventional loans or debt servicing loans as investors, go to a broker. They're gonna be able to shave off typically a half point, maybe a full point lower compared to a direct lender because their margins are so much smaller compared to a retail bank, right? Retail banks are trying to make 2, 3, 4% on every transaction, as we know. Brokers are happy to work with a client, especially a repeat client. They'll work for 1%, 1.5%. And so to your bottom line, it saves you significantly on the interest rates.
All right, where can people find out more about you?
You can go to our website, www.lendfriendmtg.com, and you can learn more about me, my family business, and how we can help you guys as investors.
Thank you.
Thanks.